At the end of the power hour tonight, not too much done. I got the little brass clips polished up, pretty exciting. And I painted up the, so this is the brake line and the clutch master cylinder line, so they're looking a little better. So I'll wait to install those until tomorrow. That'll be my power hour for Tuesday night. Alright guys, have a good night. Alright guys, just coming up to 10 after 9, and we got the ball game on in the garage, and we've got the clutch fluid line and the brake lines painted. So we're going to install those on the car now. We've got the brass clips all polished up. So we'll go ahead and install that, and hopefully it fits okay. Good evening guys, Tush coming at you. It's Wednesday, September the 10th, and just after 6 o'clock. Still 70 degrees out in the garage, but we got a little bit of rain falling, which is okay. We're in the garage, nice and dry. For now anyway. Hopefully the wind shifts a little bit. But anyway, we're back on the TR3 tonight. I took a video last night, and we managed to get most of the brake and clutch lines done. I just have to connect them down on the frame rail, so I'm going to try to do that tonight before it gets too dark. It's a little dark down there underneath the car, so I was having a little bit of a challenge last night. But we also have a visit tonight from one of my Toronto Triumph Club members coming out to visit and help me with a little bit more of the wiring. Call him the Silver Fox. His name's Clive. Nice old Englishman. Knows his way around Triumphs. Anyway, hopefully Clive will give me a hand with some of the issues that I'm having. One, the signal lights for some reason don't want to work properly. They'll work temporarily. I have two original Lucas flasher units, and then I've got a brand new flasher unit. It still won't work, so we got them to work temporarily, but they're out again, so we're going to troubleshoot those tonight. And a few other little minor issues electrically that we'll try to sort out tonight, and that'll be it. So try to give you a report during the night. We'll talk to you later. Alright guys, quick update. Just after 9 o'clock, and it's a mess. But everything's out that needed to be out, but everything is now wired and working, so as long as I can get it back in the dash, the center cluster back in the dash, and the dip switch back on, and a few other things without shorting anything out or moving any wires, we should be in good shape. So that'll be the project over the next couple days, is to get that all sorted out and back in order. We also need to figure out this oil gauge line. So we'll do that the next few days as well. So it looks like it's a step backwards, but actually it's a big step forwards now that all the wiring is done and correct for the car. So I'm happy about that. So thanks to Clive for his help. Couldn't have done it without him. Wiring is definitely not my forte. So anyway, that's it for tonight, guys, and we'll get back. Evening, guys. Tush coming at you. It's now Friday night, and it's just coming up to 7:15. Getting a little chilly at night now. We've got about 60 degrees in the garage. It's about 15 degrees Celsius. So we got the ball game on in the garage, and we're just back out working on the car a little bit. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to actually hook up the clutch and brake pedals with a couple clevis pins that go in here. So we'll do that, and I just found those yesterday actually in my parts bin, so we'll go ahead and we'll hook those up, and then we'll have pedals. Good afternoon, guys. Tush coming at you. Saturday, September the 13th, and just coming up to 1 o'clock. Miserable day outside. Not quite to 60 degrees Fahrenheit today. Looks to be about 56 or so. So definitely chilly and rainy and damp. Babysitting a Merkur for a few days. Les got his, my neighbor Les got his Capri back from having some work done on it, so he didn't have any room in the driveway or the garage, so I'm got this sitting here for a little bit. Got the keys, so maybe we'll take it for a rip. Anyway, back on the 3. And I'm not sure whether I gave you an update last night or not, but the clutch and brake master cylinders are now hooked up. That was a bit of a pain. Ended up losing a couple little pieces down the holes where the pedals come up through. There's a big sort of cavity there, and I figured they'd just drop through down to the carpet on the other side, but they didn't. They actually get caught in this little cavity underneath the the pedal box. So those are gone for good. It's a good thing I had some backups, and I don't think they're going to interfere with anything, so I'll find those the next time I do a restoration on this car. I'll have some extra parts. Anyway, what we're going to do today, I think we're going to try to figure out that back panel. I took it off again because I didn't have the clips for the bottom of the panel, but I found those, and here they are in an unlabeled bag after I was going through all my parts bins and cleaning them out. So we've got these now, so what we'll try to do is we'll try to figure out how to install these and get the bottom of the panel to stay put. So I think I'll do that. I know I've got to work on my, the only thing left I've got to do as far as brakes are to hook the brake line up on the passenger side frame rail. There's the brake switch. So I've got to hook my some lines into that switch. I've actually taken some lines off to be able to try to move the switch over a little bit because I'm having problems with where this cable comes over from the slave. You can see it, I don't think you'll be able to see that going down, but I've got to get that to feed into that down there. So then that will be it as far as the brakes are concerned. So brakes are almost done. So we'll work on those few little projects today and hopefully get those out of the way. Maybe I'll work on the brakes first, since that is the last thing to finish off that area. So anyway, I'll come back with a little bit of an update later on. Quick update, guys. Coming up to 2:45, and we now have all the brake lines hooked up. That was a bitch. It's probably one of the harder jobs I've actually done on the car, to get that brake line connected, because it kind of interferes with the frame rails down there, and there's you know, there's a big union down there, so I got lots of pipes around, so it's hard to get a wrench in there. Anyway, ended up getting under the car, above the car, you know, basically a contortionist to get that done up. But anyway, it's done. We also have the choke cable hooked up and working, so that's a good thing. So we'll now move on to the next thing, which will be probably installing that back panel. Alright, guys. Hey, good morning, guys. Tush coming at you. It's Sunday, September the 14th, and just coming up to 11 o'clock in the morning. Still a little chilly out in the garage this morning. It's only 52, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 12 degrees Celsius, so definitely feeling like fall. Pretty soon going to have to put the furnace on in the house. It's getting a little chilly in there. So anyway, doing a lot of little jobs, or small jobs on the TR3. I can't remember where I left off from yesterday, but obviously I remember doing the pedal box. I remember changing these battery cables out. I used to have an orange cable on I didn't like, so I've gone to the red cables. What else did I do? Tried to tidy the wiring up a little bit. Put this backer board in. I've got the proper mounts now on the bottom of the board fixed to the body tub, so that's ready to go. Started working on installing the large gauges yesterday, and I ran into an issue. And I can show you what that is. And I had me stumped for a little bit, but then I figured it out late last night. And as you can see here on some of the gauges, they have a narrow mount, which takes this type of bracket, and then they had a wider mount. So I was sort of intrigued, let's say, and I was actually looking for the proper mounts for the wider mounts, and then I suddenly realized that they don't actually get that type of bracket. They get the spade mounts. So anyway, I dug some of those up, so it took me a little while to figure that out. But anyway, we'll install at least the tack today. I've got the tack cable run. I do have the speedometer cable run, however I'm not happy with it. I need to get an angled drive. I don't like the angle that comes out of the overdrive, so we'll have to get an angle drive for that, but I've run the cable under the car at least. So that's what we're going to do today, is at least throw the tack in, and we'll see where we get from there. Hey guys, I've got the dash pretty much tidied up, and it's basically all installed now. The only thing that needs to be installed is the speedometer cable, and it looks like I'll have enough room to do that after the fact. So everything's in there, everything's tight, everything's wired and lighted. So the only thing I really need to do is find a provision for the horn, and I've just got this horn switch here at the moment, but we'll wire that in once I get a horn button. I've got a bid on one on eBay. So that's looking good. So I think what we'll do now is we'll move on to seat belts. So these are the original race car seat belts. They're a little dirty, but I don't know, we'll go with them initially. We may swap out to just some standard seat belts, but I think they're kind of cool. So we'll go with those, and like I said, if we don't like them, we can always swap them out. The holes are already in this car for the belts, so We'll just make a few quick holes through the carpet and we'll feed them through and bolt them in. Alright guys. Hey guys, just coming up to 20 after 5 and just had a pretty good day of tinkering in the garage. So we've got the seats back in, and they're in hopefully for good, although they may have to come out again to be able to get the transmission tunnel back in, because there's a couple of fasteners down in here that I'll probably need to pull the seats out to get at, but I'm probably going to have to run without the transmission tunnel for the first couple of runs anyway to make sure everything's working as far as the overdrive is concerned. So the tunnel will probably go in a little bit later after. So anyway, the seats are in, seat tracks are fully bolted in. Like I said, I've got that back panel bolted in. We've got the hood stick cover on now, and that fits not too bad. A little baggy, but everything snaps up, so that's good. So looking good. The dash is now in. Everything works. All the lights work. The only thing I need to do there is hook up the speedo cable, and that's complete. All the dash structure underneath is tight, so all the support rails and that kind of thing, the bottom of the dash, that's all now screwed up tight. I haven't put the glove box in yet. That'll be probably the next thing I do as far as the dash is concerned. I do want to get or make a little bezel tool for these switches to tighten those up a little bit. There's a tool you can buy for about 30 bucks, but I think I can make one, so I'll probably end up doing that in the near future just to tighten those up. So other than that, that's about it for now. I put that clip on the fuel line below, so the fuel lines are all ready to go now. So fuel lines are ready to go, brake lines ready to go, clutch lines ready to go. Haven't got any fluid in them yet, but that'll be the next thing I do as far as that's concerned. So yeah, we're getting there. We're checking things off slowly, but yeah, we're getting there. So that's about it for now, guys. We'll figure out what we're going to do next, and we'll get back out here probably tomorrow evening. All right then, talk to you later, guys. Coming at you. So next project on the car is going to be to we're going to move the rad, and we're going to do a little bit of work on the front of the car. We're going to try to figure out this alternator conversion. I've got a belt ordered. These belts are too short for the alternator conversion to work. So I've got a new belt order. That was a little bit of a chore, finding a belt, a longer belt that would work. Anyway, we've got one coming. It's supposed to be coming today. So what we're going to do is we'll take the rad out so we can get better access to the alternator. While we're in there, we're going to check we're going to snug the steering rack conversion up, and we're going to check the motor mounts and all the connections at the front of the engine one more time before we bolt it all back together, because we won't be able to access that area once the front apron goes on. So we'll just make sure everything's cool with that area before we bolt it up. I'm also going to replace this bottom rad protection shield. I've actually got the one off the parts car that's not actually cut. This one was cut because the previous owner with the race car actually ran an oil cooler, and he actually had lines running through here. So we'll fix up the parts car one. It needs to be hammered a little bit and painted, so we'll do that while we're here as well. Alright guys, we'll come back in a bit. Quick update, guys. We got the rad out and the front of the car exposed, so you can see where the alternator conversion is going. I've got to repaint that bracket because I had to pound it flat as part of the conversion, so we'll have to take that off once we get the belt. We're going to do a test fit. Then everything works, we'll pull that off, get that painted, maybe do a few touch-ups in here, a little bit more cleanup, check all the fasteners in here, and then we should be good to reinstall the radiator. I had to sacrifice a bottom radiator hose, brand new hose, but I've got a couple spares sitting over there, so we should be okay. We'll check the rack and pinion conversion torque on the mounts, and we'll check the pinion as well to make sure that that's torqued up properly, and we'll just do a few other quick checks while we're there before we put her all back together, and then hopefully that's the last time we'll have to be in there for a little while. We can put the apron on and move on. Alright guys, we'll come back later. Okay guys, quick update for you. So you might notice that it's not a green belt that's on there. It's actually the factory cogged belt, which I ended up going back to. The green belt was going to be a little bit too long, and I ran out of adjustment to be able to adjust it to get it tight enough. So I had taken a guess on that belt because it's an alternator conversion. I knew I needed to get a little bit longer belt initially for it to work. What I ended up doing was using the stock belt, which is not a bad thing because I have about 2 or 3 of these stock belts, and it's always good to know what the original part number is and know that it'll fit. what I ended up doing was just modifying the top bracket and shortening it a little bit on this side and drilling a new hole as opposed to slotting it on this side. I also drilled off, or shaved off an ear off the side of the alternator casing, which was interfering with the side of the block. I also shaved off an ear from the steering column support. This is for the UK cars who had the steering column on this side, so I just shaved off that top ear as well, which was interfering with some of the adjustment with the longer belt. Anyway, it's on. It's good. The alignment's really good, so I'm happy with that. So a few modifications along the way, but as long as it works, I'm okay with that. Anyway, we'll get to buttoning her back up. New rad hose is on already, so we'll throw the rad back in. I have torqued up all the steering rack mounts and all of the U-joint couplings along the rack as per the specified torque values in the document that came with the steering rack conversion. So that's pretty much about it. We'll button this up. Guys, Touch coming at you. It's Monday, September the 15th, and we're just coming up to 7:15. A little dark in the garage tonight. It's getting pretty dark outside early now, so obviously fall and winter are coming in a hurry. Anyway, caps off the radiator, which is a good sign, being filled up with coolant. The dash pots are topped up with oil. I think it's pretty much ready to go. Battery's being charged. I think we're pretty much ready to go for a test start. Or a restart. It hasn't been started since the last time I started. It was December 2011 according to my videos that I just checked, so hasn't been started since then, and we've had a few little tweaks since then. I think those are a different set of carbs that are on the car, so who knows whether it'll fire or not. I haven't done any checks yet to see if I've got spark or anything like that. Got oil in it, and like I said, we just put the coolant in it, so yeah, I think we're ready to go. Anyway, we'll have to get some gas. Gas lines are hooked up. No fuel in it at the moment. So that'll be the next thing I have to do. I was thinking about trying to start it up tonight, but that means I got to make a fuel run, and I don't really want to do that out in the rain. So I think what we'll do is we'll put the last remaining thing I think that needs to be done on the car, and that's to put on the valve cover gasket. This is a silicone gasket from I think it's called Gasket Innovations. Yeah, Gasket Innovations, Steve Downing. From, looks like Indiana. Anyway, we're going to stick that on that valve cover, and that should be it for the engine. Anyway, that's it for tonight, guys. We'll talk to you later.